Hello dearies, welcome to the Craft Kitchen and yeah, the 72nd episode of making the LAPBOOK. No, actually it is part 5, but still it feels like there's a lot to do. Well, it feels like there is a lot left that I can do with this. So this is what we made so far. And still, this is just the base, and I've not been working on this since our last meetup for the LAPBOOK adventure, besides adding those spines. Really, I should have filmed this because this was sort of an adventure. Maybe you remember and also still can see it a tiny bit. I've been making sort of an expandable spine like you do have on file folders with a lot of score lines, so this will be flexible. But when I finally tried to find out how I want this to be, to look when it's closed, this was all wobbly and I couldn't get like a sort of reasonable shape in here. So when I close this, there is a spine attached here and also here. But when I close this part, or this side of the LAPBOOK still flaps over to this side, but I want it to be more like this, so that I do have a gap from the left spine to this edge here. And for this, I guess I actually will have to reinforce the back of this, like here, with one of my salvaged book covers. Let me see. Here we are. So this is a book cover, or was a book cover from a photo book, and I peeled off all the decorative papers and also the inner cover paper. And yeah, for some parts I had to use a bit of water to dampen this so I could peel it off, and therefore my grey board now is quite rough and actually really thirsty. So when I put glue on here, I really can't be sure that my glue will adhere properly to this paper. Well, first because this is sort of coated paper, but my bookbinding glue does work on this perfectly fine. And secondly, and that's the main reason, so the main problem, because yeah, this is quite rough and porous. The glue can just be soaked up by the cardstock, and maybe I will have some sort of dry spots in the end. So what I did, I just coated this side with a mixture of my bookbinding glue and methyl cellulose. Methyl cellulose because it makes the glue a bit more liquid, but still not too watery. This is a trick bookbinders use to thin up their glue, because bookbinders glue is sort of, well, not thick, but it has some sort of a body. Let's say it like this. So I've been mixing my bookbinding glue in a ratio of 6 parts, so 60% bookbinding glue and 40% methyl cellulose. Painted a real thin coat on top of this and let it dry, so I will still have to do the back side to create sort of a barrier for the next layer of glue. And I'm really lucky. If I try and find this center here, this fits quite well between my spine pieces. So I still will have sort of, 1 millimeter left, so that I'm gonna press this down properly. You can see it maybe. Here is my inked tape as well as here. So I do have this fold of, let's say, 1.5 millimeters left on the right side and the left side, and top and bottom it nearly is the exact height. And actually that's a good thing, because this way the edges of my paper, top and bottom, will be protected because they are glued onto my cardboard. Cardstock, I always mix those two up. Cardstock, Tina, cardstock. Grey board. So my edges will be protected because they are glued down to my grey board and can't bump against anything that's, I don't know, laying on the table. So for attaching this, I also, of course, want to decorate the front side. So this is the back side I'm going to be gluing on here. And I also want to decorate this side. First, I'm going to, again, create the barrier with my glue mixture. And then I want to use my faux leather made from packaging paper. And although this is already sealed with matte medium, and yeah, because I made this with glycerine, actually not too sensitive, I also want to cover it with acrylic varnish, in this case matte varnish, because I only do have matte varnish for this sort of things, because really on books I don't like the glossy finish at all. Well, this is matte varnish. Let's see, I do have a sample here somewhere. So this is matte varnish, and maybe you can see this. This turns out a bit shiny anyway. I could mix this with cornstarch to make it less shiny, but I don't care. I'm going to leave it like it is, because when you polish leather it will be shiny a bit anyway, unless you do have sway, of course, or what's it called? I guess that's the word. So yeah, it will be a bit shiny anyway because of the polishing, so I'm absolutely fine with the acrylic matte varnish. So first I'm going to cover or sort of protect my grey board with my glue mixture, and this will take a few minutes, I guess 10 to 15, until I can use it, because well, I had to let this side dry completely to create the barrier, because of course bookbinding glue and methyl cellulose both are water soluble, and if I add another layer of glue, a thick layer of glue, which contains water of course, it could sort of dissolve the first layer, and I don't want this. Well, it will happen, the tiniest bit, but not as much. And yeah, again, this side I can just let dry for 10 to 15 minutes, so that is sort of dry to the touch, because then I want to adhere my faux leather, and since on top of my faux leather will be no glue and no varnish yet, I can press it under some heavy books. So I do have 2 shelves from our old wardrobe left. So I'm going to place this board between those 2 shelves, put some books on top, and let this dry until tomorrow. So I don't have to worry that the glue in between won't adhere, because it's seeping into here. Because the pressure will connect both pieces that fast, there will be no seepage. Well, of course, something will, a bit will soak into my grey board, but not too much. So I don't want, I won't have some air bubbles here. Oh, sorry. It's not 60 by 40%, it's 70 by 30%, but that doesn't matter. 60 by 40 would also do. And it's not that much left, but for the first barrier, for the first coat, I don't need that much. So now I'm holding my gray board sort of against my light, so I can see where I still have to add some more of my mixture, because there are dry spots, or I think there's not enough glue. So adding here, and I'm trying not to touch. Well, I don't have waste paper big enough to go under here, so I'm just, yeah, sort of holding it with my arm and my hand here, and I'm trying not to touch the glue. So let's see. I guess that's okay. And yeah, when you're painting this mixture on, you already will feel that this dries really fast, despite the fact that there's methyl cellulose in there, because in the end methyl cellulose is also a paste, or yeah, some sort of glue, and it just grabs. Yep. So I'm going to let this dry, and in the meantime I am starting to decorate, or well, more expand my front cover a bit more. So although I'm building my lapbook from the inside to the outside up, I want to have a spine here on this page, just the tiniest bit, because when I leave it like it is at the moment, I can't add much here. Maybe like some writing papers and 1 or 2 flat pockets on one side, even not even on the other side. So I want to make another score line here, which also will shorten this edge, because of my gluing, adjusting, and you name it. This edge here is about half or even 1 millimeter hanging over my spine here on the red side. You can't even see it properly, I guess. Well, the tiniest bit. So I could cut this, but I will have to make sort of a, yeah, more of a gusset than a spine here anyway. So this page will be shorter. I'm going to be doing this before I'm going to do anything else. Let's say I want to add, this is, yeah, I like it. This is half a centimeter. Half a centimeter is about, oh, again, I'm trying to find my measurements. Half centimeter is about, I can't read it, well, 3/8 of an inch, I'd say, about. So I want half a centimeter here, and I'm trying to line this up. This is way too long, because up here I read centimeters, down here I'm reading inches. So I want to make a mark. Well, I guess, yeah, that's already about here. Doesn't have to be that exact, right? And then again, ooh, about there. Oh, I can't see it. I guess that's it. So if you do have a cutting board, yeah, you automatically will have a scoreboard, a large scoreboard. Either, oh, I moved it, either you do have this dull blade here inside, so it's just sort of a metal piece, a rounded metal piece, that you can use for scoring, or you use your cutting line on your cutting board. I can't find the word right now. And maybe a stylus pen or even a butter knife. The back side of a butter knife would do. I don't have one here at the moment. So not the sharp side, but the back side, and you can just score here perfectly fine. So I have to line this up again. Joy! So trying to make my score line here. I'm using my dull blade for this, like so. Let's see. Well, maybe I'm gonna be using my stylus. I guess my bone folder won't fit in here. No, no way. So using my stylus pen for this, like so. Yeah. Yes, I do have my score line. Ooh. And now I'm making the tiniest bit of a, more of a gusset in here. Again, I made my score line on this side of my page because I guess I told you this like 100 times already. If you make a score line, just remember a valley becomes a hill. So if you score here and do have your valley, you can easily just fold this up. Really easy. So I'm going to burnish this because there's medical tape all over. Burnishing this is a good idea. So like this. Yes. Trying to turn this over. And now I folded it to the inside and told you, crap, I should. I really should have turned it completely over. So again, folding. I'm just going to burnish this with my fingernails. Well, what's left of my fingernails, like so. So let's see if this is sort of flattened. So let's imagine there is a spine, back panel. Yes, I love it. Yes, yes. I don't know yet if I'm going to add just a strip of cardstock here to make sort of a spine. I don't know. But as you can see now, my first page is a bit shorter and a bit removed from the edge of this spine part here. So, and I'm not done building this up and up and up and up. Well, I'm going to be using this music sheet. This is the entire page with the middle fold, but actually I want to turn this into sort of a zigzag fold page. So like this, the other way around, like this. I don't want the writing, printing notes, I guess. Well, the written music to be upside down. So I will add this here. I will hinge this page to this page. I don't know yet if I want this on the outside or on the inside, but I can decide for this later. So let me see. I don't think I want to have like this, or do I? Well, that's quite wide, but also very interesting. Now, I want to have more space here for decorating, so I'm going to fold all this a bit shorter. Maybe like so. Let's see. Yeah, that's much better. So this is covering a bit more than half of this front page, which I like. Yeah, let's do it like this. So I'm just going to fold this properly, burnish this down, like so. And this I want to be aligned with my outside edge, sort of outside edge, like so. Problem with coffee dyed or yeah, any sort of liquidish dye, coffee dyed paper is actually that the paper will spread, so the fibers will spread, and it actually can be that you can't get what was straight in the beginning straight after dyeing your papers, but that's quite alright. I mean, this channel is all about junk journaling, right? So now I want this to fold in to be my hinge, like so. Well, let's see, do I want to have this that long so I can make a tuck spot here? Let's see, when I attach this here, do I want to make this into a tuck spot? Actually, well, I know what I'm going to do. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. I'm going to leave it as it is for now. Just glue it down completely, so this will be really, really attached to my first page, because this, yeah, will gain a bit weight in the process. And I'm going to be making another pocket here on top, so you won't see this hinge anymore. But what I really want and have to do is reinforce the folds of my paper. So we can ignore this. This is the original fold. This will be covered. But my goodness, what's happening? Sneezing, sneezing, coughing. Oh, I guess it's the lime flowers. Ooh, they smell just great. The entire street smells of honey, but they are very mean. So, cheers with tea. Excuse me. So, yeah, this will be a fold. I will have to reinforce this. Then this will be folded, open, and also this. So I'm going to make reinforcements here. Well, why not on both sides? Because if I reinforce this paper on both sides, I don't have to worry about maybe adding some more gussets and teeny tiny spines, you know? So I do have my zigzag fold. Actually, I should reinforce this edge as well later. So now I do have fold like this, which will come out to the right. So like this. Yeah, there is still the middle fold of the page. We can just ignore it. And then it folds in like this. I'm still not sure if I want this to be folding so, like so, or to the inside, which also would be nice and actually a surprise. But for now, I'm going to glue this on to my top page. For now, top page. Now this part is done. And I can tell you it is quite warm in here. So when I glue this on, my bookbinding glue, dried really fast, so the fibers of the music sheet spread and shrunk sort of at the same time. So I do have some tiny folds here. Therefore I made a new mixture of my thinned bookbinding glue. So first, this helps with the open time. You will have a longer open time for your glue because this stuff just grabs. Just like art glitter glue, when it's on, it's on. And for this I'm using a mixture of methyl cellulose paste. So I'm using powder and water, 4% methyl cellulose by weight. And to make this mixture, 70% bookbinding glue, 30% methyl cellulose paste. I'm using my bookbinding glue, this Planetol BB, so dispersion glue. And I'm using for this mixture 7 parts bookbinding glue and 3 parts of methyl cellulose by weight. Not the powder, but the paste. Methyl cellulose and bookbinding glue mixed by weight for this one. If you're interested in how to do this, I do have a video on adhesives on my channel. And yeah, if it's warm, that's also quite a good idea. I don't know if this mixture will do. Maybe I have to add more methyl cellulose, but this, whoa, really fast. Yeah, I made a new mixture because I want to add the back cover, or more of a back panel. Yeah, well, it will be sort of a cover. And for this, I want to cover my grey board with my faux leather that I already painted with acrylic varnish. I do have some boo-boos here because I dropped my brush. Well, I will have to sort of decorate this the tiniest bit, I guess. This is, yeah, drying fast anyway, but with these temperatures, whoa. So I already cut this to size and marked where I have to lay down my board. Like here. So I rubbed out, sort of, yeah, polished in, you could say, the air bubbles underneath, because actually they are not only air bubbles. Like with every other paper, also this glycerine treated paper is going to warp when it's getting wet, and the fibers are spreading, of course. So you will have sort of bubbles, folds, whatever. So I'm just trying to polish them in as good as possible, because when I'm trying to sort of rub them out, scratch them out, like you would do with vinyl, for example. I'm going to tear the paper and stretch it too much, so when it shrinks again while drying, the entire board will warp. Now I'm turning this over, hopefully. Try not to lift my edges. And now I want to fold this in. And for this I have to miter my corners. But I'm not going to cut right here until the corner of my grey board, because when I cut right here at the corner, there's no material left that would cover this corner. So I'm trying to leave about, yeah, this grey board is 2 millimeters, so I'm gonna be trying to leave about 3 millimeters here from this grey board corner to my cut, because leaving about 1.5 times the thickness of your board, of your cover board, is the rule of thumb in bookbinding. But actually I'm going just to eyeball this, because if it's a bit more, I don't worry. And I will have to cut on the wrong side of my ruler. Don't like it. And I don't care for the correct angle here, because you won't see it anyway, because it's going to be glued on top of this. If you do this for a book cover, then it absolutely would be nicer to have the perfect angle here, so when you fold this over you will have like a 45-degree line here at your folds. But in this case I don't care. So what I want to do now is take my bone folder and sort of prepare my paper. So yeah, already bring it to form, so it will be easier to fold it after I put the glue on, because paper has a memory. So now I start, how do I want this to sit? Like so. I start with top and bottom, gluing this on, just because I'm used to this when making book covers. You start top and bottom, and only then you take the left and the right side in. This is not really necessary to do it like this, so this paper is too short. And I want to make sure that my glue really gets here to the edge of my grey board, so also the fold will be attached nicely. And I'm folding this over starting from the middle, not pressing too hard, Just slightly folding over because still the fake leather is paper and the fibers will spread when wet. Giving this edge here slight burnish with the flat side of my bone folder. I guess you also could use just a what's it called? Plastic card, debit card, whatever for this, but with this you would want to be a bit careful because you could tear your paper. Folding this in to hide the glue, using the back side of this and doing the same on this side. And maybe you might see this, my glue mixture now is quite liquidish, but really this depends on the temperature, on the room temperature, because if it wasn't that warm it would be sort of like maybe school glue. Yeah, it's quite hot in here. And I'm also filming this right now, late in the evening. So yeah, the temperatures are already down. Still I do have, I don't know, 27, 28 Celsius in here. Pooh. Yeah, so now I do have top and bottom covered. Removing this. Now I want to fold in the sides here, and for this, oh yeah, let's try. For this I'm using the pokey side of my bone folder or my fingernail and fold in this corner here. Let me try to show you. So you use your fingernail or your bone folder. When holding this up I have to use my fingernail. You fold this in like so, so that this part here is straight. Showing you here again, just press to the inside and you will have sort of a crinkly corner here, right? But then your cardboard corner will be covered. Again, this side, just folding this in the tiniest bit. And this side. Show you with my bone folder. Just fold this in. So, and now I'm going to cover this part with glue, and all I have to do now is fold this over and I will have a closed corner. So, and now you will have the covered corner here, no side of the grey board underneath, quite nice. But since I didn't take that much care, or I didn't pay attention to the right angle and the perfect measurement of my folds here, of my infolds here, these parts are not that pretty. So if you want to do this for a book and maybe put an end paper here on top, you could see those folds here, those overlaps underneath your end paper, and you might want to pay attention to cut this really in a 45-degree angle, but since this is going to go on the back of this and never to be seen again, I don't mind this. So I'm pressing this fold on here with the flat side of my bone folder and scratching it with my fingernails. What the actual... Oh no, I just slipped and scratched it. I don't know. I guess I will have to repair this. No. Well, it won't be that sensitive when it's dry because I prepared it with acrylic varnish. But as long as this stuff is wet, yeah, it's still paper, right? Oh dear. Yeah, we will see if I have to repair this. Doesn't look that nice at the moment. Well, yeah, let's wait. I actually wanted to glue this on immediately and let it dry completely, but I want to add some hardware. I really found the perfect brads or split pins for this. But for this I will have to let this dry under my heavy books and my very professional bookbinder's press. So for now we're going to continue. Yeah, sort of finish the base on top of our LAPBOOK. So what I want to make on this page here, this sort of zigzag fold, is, yeah, sort of the same I made for this. So this sort of file folder with the tab, and when you fold it open, you have it like this. So pocket on one side, pocket on the other side. Here will be the tab peeking out, and this I want to have on the outside as well. I also reinforced this edge here with the sort of aged medical tape. So let's see. So I don't want this to be on here, of course, but on these two pages, this, yeah, let's say hill. And I already know I want this part here to be here in the upper right edge, so I already cut this to size, and I also already marked where I will have to cut later, so that my head won't be in the way when I measure this. So I made a mark here, which is the tiniest bit away to the right side from my page fold here, and also I marked it down here. I made two marks because, like I told you, when you, for example, coffee dye your papers, so if you wet them, so like soaking wet, the fibers of the paper will spread out and deform everything the tiniest bit. So I will have to cut this to size by marking it. And I also already made marks here at the top and down here at the bottom, where the fold of where the middle fold of this double page will be. But I'm of course not going to cut here yet, so I'm going to shorten this. So when I place this here, I will have my scrapbook paper removed from the folds, the tiniest bit, top and bottom. I will have to place this very carefully, and my mark is here at this fold, where I will fold my page over, and also down here at the fold. So now I'm just placing my template. Let's see which way around. I guess again like this. I'm going to place my template, line it up with my markings, like so, and yeah, then I will have to draw around here, and I will cut this with my scissors. Well, it will be a mix of scissors and ruler and knife again. It might very well be that I will have to cut the tiniest bit from this edge here, but that's quite alright, because I want to have the tiniest bit of a gap between those two, so that this can fold, this part here can fold properly. Yeah, I really will have to cut off like not even 1 millimeter here. So just the tiniest bit. Well, this actually is 1 millimeter. I'm okay with this. Yes, so all my pages can fold properly without getting stuck on my pockets here. And let's have a look here. Again, I want this to be the tiniest bit removed from my fold, and of course from the top as well. So again, I will have to cut, yeah, another millimeter off. But actually that's what I was aiming for when I cut this, because of course you can always take off a sliver, sliver, but you can't add paper to this. Well, you could glue something onto it, but I don't think that would look that nice, right? Let's see, what do we have here? Oh yeah, I have to wiggle this a bit because this part here gets stuck at my reinforcement tape, because, well, so this cut is, yeah, almost at the edge of my tape. I'm thinking to put some more tape on here, so that when I pull something out of this pocket, it won't get stuck at the tape underneath. So now with this, I reinforced those 2 pages already. Would you please just fold and not, thank you, go off. I guess I will have to clip this. There you are. So let's do this the other way around. So clipping this like so. So I reinforced this page already. I have to take this off again just to show you. And still I have this fold here, but I covered it on this side. So I'm going to add another sort of long pocket here. Probably I'm going to be using the other side of my template, so like this shape, this way around, like so. So I do have this covered, and ooh, well, it's beginning to stick. It does take a bit longer, yeah, like I told you. My glue's already a bit old, mean, look here. This is just great. And you fold it, when you fold it open, yes, this is awesome. Thank you so much for this idea, Eva. I love it. I just love it. So this is going to fold like this. And still, I don't know if I want this to fold to the left or here, sort of down under. And when I look at this now, I really love the look of this. So on top. I mean, I've actually chosen this color so that this goes well with the map. The map is a bit more blue, this is a bit more green, but they are of the same color family. And also I wanted to have a color that matches the map, because I don't want to cover this completely. And really, this just looks awesome. I guess it's going to be this way around, right? Just great. So now that I decided otherwise, I will have to think about my closure, but well, I guess I already know what to do later. Now I want to concentrate on the back, so the entire thing is going to be a bit more sturdy, and these two spines here won't be that wobbly anymore. Yeah, for this I prepared the board. It's all dry now, and yeah, I want to add some hardware as well. But before I'm going to add in the hardware, I want to age this a bit. Let's see, I guess fallen leaves. Yeah, Portobello would match the walnut stain oxide ink, but this is too dark for Portobello actually, so I'm going to be using fallen leaves just to ink up the edges, the tiniest bit, just before I glue this down. For this I have to find my designated dauber. So let's see, and of course this has to dry. And I'm going to let this dry on its own. Not going to use my heat tool for this, because I could actually melt my what's it called? Matte varnish here on top of my acrylic paint. No, I don't want to do this. So just kind of like edging here, going the tiniest bit over the edge, so not like you would sort of age your papers, only giving this a bit more dimension. And also remember, I scratched this while it still was wet after gluing it down. So yeah, you could see the paper underneath, and with this I'm just covering the fact that I am a bit clumsy. So I'm going to let this dry here, and I want to show you something. I guess most of you already saw this. Toni from Crafty by Toni has been using those split pins, those brads lately, with the raised heads. And when I saw her using her texture hammer on this and just having fun, I thought they really must be sort of, soft. I don't know how to say this in English otherwise. So I don't have a texture hammer, but when I saw her hammering these down, I immediately had an idea. And I absolutely needed them. So, yeah, this is just a piece of scrap packaging. So I was thinking, why not use your screwdriver or your screwdriver bit, so the Phillips head, and just make the Phillips impression in those, because they are becoming quite flat. Like I told you, they are really, really soft. Problem with this is, I guess you can see this. This bit, well, actually every Phillips screwdriver is conical. So you get this point down here, and this will press into the head of your split pin more and more and more, but you don't get much of the impression of this here. So yeah, you get more of this here. It's also nice, I really like it, but it's not what I want. So then I've been using just a slit screwdriver and trying to make a cross, so an X. Yeah, I ended up making sort of a cross, but not an X, of course. And here I used a bigger, come on, focus, a bigger bit, also Phillips, but this is what you get with the Phillips bits. And then I thought, I also do have Torx bits, you know, the 6-star bits, and those are absolutely straight, so no conical shape like those Phillips. Let me get one. So yeah, some of my screw bits, I guess I've been using this one. Yeah, so as you can see, hopefully, come on, those are straight there, and those are conical. So I'm not going to use the Phillips bits, which is a bit sad, because I was hoping to make the BRADS. You can buy, I don't know, I guess it's 30 pieces in one package that look like screw heads. So I was hoping I could make some with a Phillips design. Well, I can make some with a just slit, but this one I really, really love. This is just awesome. So I'm only going to make one here on camera, because my desk is the tiniest bit raised, so I can work on here sitting more or less straight, and it will be shaking. So no, I'm only going to show you how to make those with the 6-point star. Come on and focus those here yourself. And then I'm going to add my hardware decorations to my cover board at the countertop. So my inking all around is almost dry. It's still a bit sticky, but it doesn't come off anymore. And actually, you nearly can't see it. Well, it is what it is. Let me take a look. If I ink the corners a bit more. Do I like this? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to ink this the tiniest bit more. And when this is dry, I'm going to show you. Okay, this is crazy. I love it. So I used the VersaFine Claire fallen leaves all around here, as you can see, to create a more visible sort of aging. So now this looks more like a maybe metal plate. Well, this is what I say, because I'm having a reaction of the acrylic varnish with the ink, or the other way around. I don't know if you can see this. This looks here at the edges sort of either overheated steel, there you can see it, or like an oily spot on water maybe. Wow, this is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Also, the ink still has a shine to it. So I'm going to let this dry, and I hope I won't lose this effect, because it's great. It is still on here. Wow! Well, it is dry, still a bit sticky. I guess this is the chemical reaction. So I will have to let this dry for quite some time, I guess. But still. So the edges look like bronze, I'd say. They do have the tiniest bit of this bluish gray shimmer here, where the ink ends and the acrylic paint begins. So this, yeah, sort of overheated metal look. I just love it. Wow, this is awesome. So now I'm going to be using my trusted triangle ruler. What do you call it? Square ruler? I forgot. So I want to have all my brads at the same spot in the corners, and also I want to add some all around here. So I'm going to be using this ruler, and I already pre-measured this. So I'm going to line up this side here at 7 millimeters, and then again 7 millimeters to the top. For this you have to sort of find out how big your eyelets or your split pins are. So, and then I'm gonna be making a mark with my awl, with my awl here at the 0 mark, just poking a hole there. Yeah, see, still sticky. So I do have my marking where I do have to make a slit. I'm not going to make a hole. Well, I actually could, because I do have a crocodile big bite, and this would totally do the job, but I guess not all of you do have this, so we're going to be making just a slit in here, just poking through and trying to get this evenly to the left and the right of the marking we just made. Try not to cut, but just use your knife and poke through. Let's see where will we come out. Ah, there you are. This will take a while, so if you do have a crocodile, I don't know if the handheld tool will do. I absolutely know the big bite will. Just use this, because you will have your hole in no time. But yeah, really use the 1/8 setting, so the smallest. If you use a bigger setting, it might be that your split pins won't hold really good. So let's see. Yeah, of course, I already put some of those in my rust water to find out if they are going to be rusted, but this will take me some time. So I guess I'm going to be using those bronze colored split pins for this. Or do I want to use the gunmetal black ones? Oh, it's quite harsh. No, I'm going to be using the bronze ones. So just trying and poke this through here. Hopefully I made the slit big enough. With those you really, especially this brand, you really want to be careful because yeah, they are really easy to bend. So, and now I do have the problem when I fold this over to this side, this might stick out the tiniest bit. So what I'm going to do is use my pliers and just twist the leg the tiniest bit, so in sort of a 45-degree angle, and then fold it over like this. I guess with these legs you actually don't even have to use pliers but yeah, this is what I'm doing usually. So I'm going to place this underneath my split pin, trying to press this down properly so it won't move that much. Now I'm using my Torx bit for my screwdriver and try to place it sort of in the middle. This is really small, I know, and you want to be careful when using your hammer on this, trying to find the middle. And I really do have a tiny hammer here which says only 100 grams. This is really small, and yeah, that'll do, because like I told you, this metal is really soft. So maybe you want to cover your ears. There you can see the star. This is just awesome. And now I'm going to hammer this sort of flat. There you have your Torx shape in your bread. These things are just awesome. So I'm going to do this all around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know yet. I'm starting with the corners and then I'm going to figure out how many I want to have in between here. I guess at least 4 at the top. Although I don't like even numbers for this, for decoration. I'm more of the odd number type. We will see. So I didn't add that many BRADS to my board. And I ended up with an even number at the right and the left side. But yeah, I'm fine with it because I didn't want to add like 3 here and 5 here. This would have been way too much, so I just used it like this now. And I also covered the legs of my BRADS, although they are really flat after hammering them down, with medical tape. For this I've been using this 3M micropore, and this is a bit more, yeah, let's say fluffy. This has a more fabric texture than the one I'm using as my aged tape. I've been covering the legs because I don't want my page to be, yeah, sort of poked by the legs when this is moving the tiniest bit. So it definitely will. So yeah, I covered this, and to glue this on I'm going to open my lap book. I have no room here, so I'm going to open it like this and this, because this here is the page where I want to add my cover to. So I'm going to open up all this. Also this, well, we'll see, but of course I want to open up those so I don't have the BRADS in the way when pressing the board down to my paper like this. I will have to close it to turn it over, sort of, like this. And oh my goodness, I can't manage. Let's see, like so. Yes, so the envelope is no longer in the way here, but the fold is. Let's see, I guess I want to place this here under. Where is the end of my spine? It's actually, yeah, exactly where I can feel it. So it's about here. And when I place this, let's see, where did I drop my brush on? Here. So this is going to go to the bottom. And yes, fits perfectly between my spine pieces. Yes. So I'm going to glue this down just with bookbinding glue. This time not thinned, just pressing this down here, so my drying time won't be too long. Whew, I had to press this on with my entire weight. But I managed. So I'm going to let this dry, which will take a few hours. But really, I love it. So if I again carefully turn this over. Yeah. Not going to close this yet. Let's see. Well, only for a moment, then I will have to sort of repress this. So now my lap book is laying flat on my desk, and I do have the gap here. So, and also this is more or less straight. Well, yeah, still the pages are not straight anymore, but I did my best. Yes! Yo! Whew. So, flip out page for the front. Yes, this definitely will be my front page because I just love it. So for this I will have to reinforce this page, probably. This, oh, I don't know yet. But yeah, this is awesome. Oh, and I really like how the back of the lap book turned out. Just because of my split pins, my BRADS. Well, I'm glad they did the job just like they did, because getting them from there to here, was sort of an adventure, because the first time I ordered them, they get lost. The second time, yeah, the app said delivered to letterbox. No. So I had to order them a third time. And when I finally got my package, I was like, this wouldn't have fit into the letterbox because it was, yeah, yay big. When you know the A2 Amazon envelopes? Yeah, so the bigger ones. No, this doesn't fit into our letterbox, so yeah. I finally got them. So this is eventually going to be a real lap book. So you can place it on your lap without having too much wobbling. I really love it. So yeah, and like I told you, I will have to reinforce this page. I also do have an idea already. Of course I do. But this is going to happen in my next video. So this will be part 6 then, I guess. Yeah. Dearies, thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you watching my videos and supporting my channel. Still, I'm having a lot of fun with this. This is quite an interesting experiment. Also the more or less lucky accidents. I just can't tilt this at the moment. Here, I got here with the reaction of the ink and the varnish. Just great, the acrylic varnish. I love it, I really love it. Still looks like metal. Sort of yeah, gilding wax with less shine. This is just great. So hopefully I will see you next time for the next part of building the base for this lap book. Still, this is only the base, dearies. Again, thanks for watching, and as always, stay creative and be excellent to each other.